If you're trying to decide which audio workstation is better for you for music creation, let me tell you that I've been there recently and I decided to go all in with Ableton Live with no regrets after 6 months and a lot of music work on it. In this video, I will explain the reasons why I moved after 17 years using a different software, so this may be helpful for you. I am a musician who has worked professionally as a producer, arranger, instrumentalist, a tutor, but it was originally with FL Studio how I started capturing my musical ideas comfortably and achieving a more accurate sound with the resources I had by then. That was in 2007 and I was 16 and all I had was an old laptop, a cheap headphone set and a mouse. And that's the relevant fact. Sliding through FL Studio's step sequencer with a mouse is so intuitive that even a beginner can start creating nice sounding rhythm loops with the basic included plugins. Clicking around the piano roll to create harmonies and melodies is a dream for those who prefer a mouse-controlled interface or don't have the external equipment to play, like a MIDI keyboard. At that moment, I also used to spend a lot of time browsing for sounds and plugins that suited my beats rather than in the music within the beats themselves, making the whole process more repetitive and less efficient in terms of creativity. I acknowledge that the difficulties that I had belonged to me and not to the software. So I started studying music for years to become an instrumentalist and understand music a bit better, and as a consequence my projects changed from 100% digital beats to multi-instrumental sessions, which means more recording and less beat making. I never liked recording through FL Studio, so I used Pro Tools. That was the industry standard at that moment, and it did the job, but I never felt satisfied with the workflow, performance, and stability overall. In 2015, I graduated from music composition and I wanted to start my own studio after working at professional studios for years using Pro Tools, and it was the time to make a choice of what was going to be the main platform for my business and what kind of computer was I going to need to run it. And that's when Reaper showed up as an option. Motivated by some good comments, I went and downloaded the free trial from the website and got very surprised to see that the file was only 30 megabytes or so. That seemed like a joke to me, but still I opened the app and it popped immediately with the tracks ready to go after a couple of clicks, in a way Pro Tools never did before. I tested the sound and I loved the efficiency of the workflow, so I took the risk and I adapted all my projects to Reaper, and I still don't regret it. Reaper is a beast. It's cheap, it's top quality professional DAW for recording and general music production. So Reaper became my preference, and I will only use FL Studio sometimes to create complementary MIDI instruments and then export them into Reaper. 8 years passed, and in March of this year, 2023, I was trying to find a new way to perform live, combining some of the skills and instruments I learned through the years, combining acoustic and digital sounds. So I was looking for looper stations that have multi-track recording and FX included, but there were always limitations for the ideas that I had planned for my show and for my performance. So in my search, I found that some artists that I already like FKJ were using Ableton Live, and after watching a couple of tutorials on how to loop in Ableton, it got my whole attention. As a musician, I had been advised multiple times to try Ableton, but I really never found it necessary until now, and this is why. The session view. Session view. Ableton looks a bit frightening to beginners, but believe me, it's always hard to adapt to a new workstation. So the session view shows vertical tracks instead of the usual horizontal view that is called arrangement view in Ableton. And with this vertical mode, you can create and loop music ideas without a defined start or an end, and you can call or stop those recorded ideas at any time through the super intuitive interface. That means that you can easily create beats on the go and even jam a bit to find the best ideas for your music. Ableton is optimized to easily configure any supported MIDI controller, and those devices that are specialized for Ableton are so powerful that I only use the mouse to open and close the session when I'm playing with my live set. The more I play with Ableton, the more I grow as an instrumentalist and a beat maker, as it helps me finding the best versions of my ideas. I feel that Ableton has now covered all my needs and keeps expanding my possibilities while doing the usual tasks that I expect from a professional audio workstation. This was a general overview of my experiences using different DAW stations and some of the reasons why I ended up deciding that Ableton is the best choice for me for music production and mostly for live performance. If you want to check some of my projects and what I'm actually doing with Ableton right now to make beats on the go and perform live, check my other videos in the channel and subscribe if you think this video was helpful. Bye!